If your bank account looks like this, chances are it's your parents' fault. Not because they didn't give you a small loan of $1 million to kickstart your career, but because they did pass down the terrible financial advice that their parents gave them, such as big brand name banks can be fine places to do your banking, but at the end of the day, their #1 goal is to profit off of you.
We've got to have money.
This means they charge higher fees and pay you less interest on your balances than their main competitor, credit unions. Credit unions are basically not-for-profit banks, which becomes obvious when you look at their mortgage rates compared to the rates offered by regular banks. A 0.5% difference might not seem like much until you realize that would save you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. These savings also apply to auto loans, and like I mentioned, they pay you more interest on the cash you have in your checking and savings accounts. And don't worry, just like banks, up to $250,000 of your cash is federally insured in case your credit union fails. When I graduated college at the end of 2017, I had $20,000 of loans at a 4.5% interest rate. Instead of paying them down as fast as I could, I made the minimum payments each month and then invested my extra money. Paying off my student loans early would have saved me that 4.5% interest rate, but I was willing to bet that I could earn more through investing in an S&P 500 index fund. Fast forward to today, and even after all of the craziness that's happened since then, the S&P 500 has returned about 9.5% per year. It's definitely not the most conservative choice, but since I'm comfortable playing the long-term averages, I took the chance that I could earn around that 10% per year through investing rather than taking that guaranteed savings of 4.5% by paying off my loans early. But if I had student loans with over a 7% interest rate, which is common with private student loans and graduate loans, I'd side with grandpa and pay them off ASAP. In the short run, savings accounts are a safe place to put your money, but in the long run, they are guaranteed to lose you money due to inflation. Inflation is how, in 1969, you could get a gallon of milk for 49 cents and a house for $27,000, when today they'd go for $3 and $380,000 on average. The value of everything is decreasing every year because the government keeps printing more money. The more money there is in the economy, the more companies can charge for goods and services. And no, inflation won't stop anytime soon because the government actually targets a 2% inflation rate each year since it spurs economic activity, but as of recently, we've seen how too much of a good thing can turn very, very bad. So if you aren't earning at least 2% on your money every year, it's losing value. And with typical savings accounts having near zero interest rates, they just aren't cutting it. What I would do instead is keep between 3 and 6 months of necessary expenses in a high yield savings account, which pay around a 4% interest rate right now, and invest the money I won't need to touch for the next 5 to 10 years into something like an S&P 500 index fund, which has historically returned about 10% per year on average. If you want to learn how to invest, my free investing guide along with my favorite investing apps are linked down in the description. If you want to learn a new language like Spanish, but you aren't allowed to speak Spanish with anyone, chances are you won't ever become fluent in Spanish. The exact same thing is true with money. It's not like we're born knowing how money works. It's something that has to be learned. But the thing is, less than a quarter of US high schools even offer personal finance classes, so it's usually up to us to really figure it out for ourselves. Watching my videos will help you learn the basics, but if you can comfortably talk to your friends, family, and even coworkers about money, you can learn about new investment opportunities, financial strategies, and maybe most importantly, you can create pay transparency at your job, which you can then use to ask for a raise. Yes, the average American household may have over $9,000 in credit card debt, and yes, with average credit card interest rates around 23%, that balance would increase by about $200 per month. But if you're a financially responsible person, which, hey, you're subscribed to me, so you definitely skew that direction, you could be one of the 20% of people that actually cost the credit card companies money. Credit card companies make money off of the interest they charge on overdue payments. So if you can simply never spend more money than you actually have and then pay off your credit card in full every month, you'll never get charged interest. And you can take advantage of all of the benefits that credit cards offer, like cash back, travel rewards, fraud protection, purchase protection, travel insurance, and of course, building your credit score. When our parents and grandparents entered the workforce, they were heavily incentivized to stay loyal to one company for a very long time because of a little something called a pension. These were the golden ticket of retirement plans. All you had to do was put in your time with the company, and then when you retire, you're paid a set amount, which is usually around what your salary was, every year until you pass. Turns out, companies stopped liking pensions so much as soon as their workforce started retiring, and they had to make all of these pension payments to their retired employees every month. So today, only about 4% of the US workforce is covered by one. Now that workers aren't as tied down to their jobs, and we have this little thing called the internet, which makes finding new jobs a whole lot easier than it used to be, they're a lot more likely to jump ship if a better opportunity presents itself. And this is paying off massively for these job hoppers. Someone who switches jobs every 2 to 3 years earns an average of 10 to 20% more over the course of their careers than someone who stays at the same one company the whole time. And one more thing, if companies aren't afraid to lay off thousands of employees as soon as they're not needed anymore,
if you're on this call, your employment here is terminated effective immediately.
You shouldn't be afraid to jump ship if you truly do find a better opportunity for yourself at a different company. That's the biggest lie on this list.